the Minecraft movie. The Minecraft movie. That's what we're going to talk about today, guys. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the movie theater incidents that have happened all across the United States. Start here if you want to listen to me talk about, the Minecraft movie situation, theaters across the United States. Skip to this timestamp. Put it right here. I'll zoom up. Put it at this timestamp if you want me to tell you about stories about when I was working in the movie theater trenches. Yes, one of my first jobs was actually working at a movie theater. First off, I'm going to be talking about the Minecraft movie. So here's a clip of ABC News talking about it. I'll just clip it up a little bit, but here it is. Here is the clip for those who don't know what I'm talking about.
It's the latest rallying cry for millions of moviegoers.
Chicken Jocky!
Those two little words sending teenage fans of a Minecraft movie into a frenzy, resulting in screaming, popcorn throwing, and soda flying through the air. In at least one case, the police have gotten involved, escorting some of the offenders out of theaters.
The manager called us and said that the theater was in bad shape. He said, well, it's a terrible mess. There is lotion squirted all over the place, and there's a row of seats that have been pulled out of the floor.
Okay, yeah, so after watching that little blurb, you should have an idea of what I'm talking about. So here's my sort of thoughts on it. And not to be repetitive, if you have reviewed any media like this or people who are talking about it, but at the end of the day, kids are going to be kids. And I think if I was, 13, 14, 15, even maybe 16, I probably would have participated in this trend as well. A lot of trends are fun to do, and it's actually crazy how it's gotten to the point where you're able to get so many different people. It's not just like a 4 to 6 person friend group doing this. It seems like it's multiple rows of people participating in this trend. I don't even know what to call it. We're gonna call it the Minecraft movie trend. That's what we're gonna call it. I just feel bad for all the parents and very young children who don't know what's going on or just aren't on the internet to understand what's going on. So instead of them thinking, oh man, it's just some unruly kids, which at the end of the day it is, but it's a trend, and it has now became a Minecraft movie immersion experience. It's not just you going to the theater at this point watching it. You're gonna it's going to be a little bit of a rave. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I know movie theaters are cracking down on it. I read an article about how staff is now requiring different minors to be accompanied with a parent for all Minecraft movie showings, which is probably a good thing. I mean, some of them are actually destroying. It's not just like a bunch of popcorn that's being wasted. It's, seats are getting rooted up. They're throwing slushies at the screens. I don't know if it's in the clip I'll show earlier, but this dude brought in a chicken. I saw it on TikTok. It's kind of funny. I will say it's kind of funny, but it's definitely not the place to do that. I can't really be a hypocrite and say that I didn't participate in stupid stuff when I was a kid either. So that's sort of my thoughts. I don't want to get all into lecturing kids, because at the end of the day, the kids know it's wrong. They know it's wrong. They know they shouldn't be doing it. It's crazy none of this stuff happened with any of the big movies, any Marvel movies. You just have people dressing up, or the Star Wars movies. That was huge. Here is the start. Here is the start of me talking about working in the movie theater trenches. Let me talk about some good things, and then I'll talk about some bad things about working at a movie theater. I worked at a really big movie theater, and it was a small business. They have different minimum wage laws. So at the time where I was 15, 16, 17, minimum wage was only $9.50. If I'm being honest, I really don't know what it is now. It's got to be higher. But yeah, it was $9.50 when I was a kid. So because I worked at this movie theater, they were able to pay what is called a small business minimum wage. So I was making $7.75. I was making $7.75. I look back on that and I'm thinking this is like modern day slavery, especially when you work at a movie theater. It's all kids. It's all kids. It's all easy work at the end of the day. So they can get away with paying very low wages. Yeah, that was modern day slavery though. I cannot believe I would work like 6 hours for, you know, a Perkins meal for two. Like, oh man, that was crazy. But yeah, pay working in the movie theater trenches is god awful, I will say. Probably one of the lowest paying jobs I can think of. When I first started, I got hired as an usher. And what an usher is at a movie theater is I'm the dude who goes into the theaters, cleans it up before the next showing. I'm cleaning the bathrooms, I'm cleaning the trash. Now, let me tell you a quick story about that. The movie theater that I worked at, it had a bar. And I think around the time when I was a kid working at a movie theater, that was sort of new. I think that's a lot more common now. But yeah, there was a whole bar at the movie theater I worked at. So instead of, just garbage cans being filled with candy, popcorn, soda, slushies, etc., there would always be booze in the garbage. And so when, let's say I work from noon to 8, those garbage cans aren't really getting thrown out for a couple hours. So a trash can is going to fill up with candy, with popcorn, with slushies, and now with beer and booze. That smell, I just want to tell you, when candy and popcorn marinates in sugary booze sludge, it is one of the nastiest smells I've ever smelled. It's like this sweet, pungent smell. All me and my other coworkers, we used to call it garbage juice. We used to call it garbage juice or garbage elixir, and it was some of the nastiest smelling stuff ever. I don't mind taking out trash. I really would do any job, especially as a kid. I really didn't care. I was getting paid. So imagine I have this huge like pail, this garbage pail on wheels where I'm going across every single trash can and I'm undoing it, undoing the trash bins, tying it up, throwing it in. So I have this huge pail. I'm gonna call it a wagon. I have this huge wagon, this garbage wagon, and I'd throw 8 to 12 of these big filled garbage juice, garbage elixir bags in this huge garbage wagon. And so when it ever got really full, I'd carry this big garbage wagon and I'd push it all the way outside, do a loop around the store where we had this huge garbage compactor. And I remember when I was getting trained in, okay, let me state this. If you go to a movie theater, if you get your ticket, if you get concessions, every single person that you are going to interact with who works at the movie theater there's like a 90% chance they're not 18. Movie theaters like chronically hire children. So it's all a bunch of kids working at the movie theater unless you're a manager. But get this, I think like 60% of my managers were my age. So I was like 16, 17. I remember I had a manager that was 2 years younger than me. And I think I was 17 at the time. So that was crazy. I was like, bro, you're a manager and you're 15? That is insane. I remember one of the young managers, he was like a year younger than me. He was showing me how to work the garbage compactor because this is my first day, right? I don't know what I'm doing. So I carry this large wagon full of garbage elixir to this garbage compactor and I'm throwing them in and he's pushing it down. He's like, hurry up, throw them all in. So I'm throwing them in. And I throw the last garbage bag in and the garbage compactor is like going and it squeezes one of them and garbage elixir goes all on my body, on my hair, all on my, body. The dude's laughing. Like, bro, why didn't you, wait? We're standing right next to it, explodes. He's like, oh yeah, it always does that. That's kind of like your initiation into being an usher. I'm like, wow, my initiation was getting garbage elixir, booze, candy, popcorn, sludge all on me. That's a fantastic initiation. Can't believe I didn't quit on that day, actually. But yeah, that was one of the worst things I had to deal with was the nasty, pungent garbage juice that just smell stained anything on you if it got on you, or just the smell. I mean, the worst smell ever. But yeah, I kind of want to talk about the Minecraft movie because I was one of those kids who had to clean up the theaters. I worked there during one of the new Star Wars premiere during one of the new Deadpool premieres, Jurassic World premieres. Those are really the only big ones. And it's so crazy that like the trend back then was like, oh, I'm gonna cosplay Gorbalglop from this planet. Or some other stuff. I'm not really into Star Wars, if I'm being honest. Yeah, that's kind of all the bad things is what I just stated. Being an usher or the people who clean up the theaters between showings, like if I worked there during the Minecraft movie, like imagine I go in there and max amount that I'm supposed to like spend in a theater at one time is 15 minutes to clean all the seats, and then clean the aisles. That's like the most important. So if there's popcorn under the seat, I'm not really gonna clean that, but definitely the aisles and the seats. So if there's popcorn just littered like everywhere, that's impossible. For people who don't know, sweeping up popcorn, especially like smushed popcorn, it's like impossible. To make any of the like theaters clean, like really, really clean, before the next person came in. So I do feel bad for those kids. Hopefully they're not making $7.75, which is slave labor, like what I made. But anyway, enough about the bad things. I want to tell you about some good things about working at a movie theater and why I would actually recommend it to any 13, 14, 15-year-olds who are looking to get a job. I don't know if this is the case now, but movie theaters will hire you. They will hire people with no experience. They will hire kids as young as 13. And although the wage you're gonna get is probably horrible, here's why it's a good idea to work at a movie theater. Number one, free movies. Free movies. This was huge when I was a kid. This was massive. Being able to go into movie premieres or premiere weeks of brand new movies that came out and get like me and a couple friends in for free was fantastic. It was something I used to my advantage. Probably every month I worked at the movie theater. It was awesome. I got to see so many movies, and I love movies. I always loved movies as a kid. So being able to get my friends into free movies, getting good seats, that was so fantastic. Working at a movie theater too, they at least the one I worked at, they did a good job like team building and stuff. So we would always be able to get movie showings like one day before they would actually come out. So like people would go to the brand new like midnight showing of the new Star Wars movie where like every kid in the theater had the opportunity to see it like a couple days or if not one day before. So yeah, the movie theater I worked at, there was always like parties for premiere showings. So people would bring their like Switch, their Wii, be playing like Smash Bros, hanging out. And it's super fun. It's like a lock-in because they're all kids. It's all girls and guys. So it was like a really fun thing to participate in when I was there. That was one thing I loved. Going back to what I said earlier about only kids work at movie theaters. Only kids work at movie theaters. So when you go to, let's say this is your first job, I'm recommending it to the young kids who are looking to get their first job. This is a perfect first job because it's all kids. It's not like you're working with a ton of adults. And yeah, you're gonna be able to make some friends, and being able to talk with kids or people around your age while you work is just gonna make the shift go by a lot better. Highly recommend this if you're a young kid. Free popcorn. I think I ate popcorn every single day I worked. I love popcorn, especially movie theater popcorn. It's probably my favorite snack ever. So that was a huge plus. But yeah, besides the pay, I mean, working at a movie theater is pretty great. It's really not that hard. Working concessions is easy, which I did. I was actually like a assistant manager, assistant usher, or captain usher, or whatever. So I would go in and I would create the schedule for the ushers and tell them what to do. And it was kind of weird because I was also a kid. But yeah, all of it's really easy at the end of the day. Cleaning a bathroom is just easy. Taking garbage out is easy. Sweeping popcorn is easy. Taking people's popcorn orders is easy. Making popcorn is easy. Getting people a slushie is easy. Like, just working at a movie theater in general is easy. It's probably the easiest job I've ever worked. And I've worked like 14, 17 jobs in my life. But yeah, highly recommend this if you were a kid like 16 and under. Highly recommend you work in a movie theater. But anyway, now I'm going to, here's the part where I'll be talking about some different stories about working at a movie theater. I already shared one about the garbage elixir and getting garbage elixir on me. If you work at a movie theater, you know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you this. So I worked at a movie theater where there was a bar. Excuse me, where there was a bar, and that means that I had to deal with drunk people, and I hadn't really I haven't really, when I was a kid, I was not around a lot of drunk people, if at all. So dealing with drunk people was something I didn't know how to deal with. I'll tell you one story where I was closing, a lot of kids or a lot of my colleagues called off. So I was the only usher. So I was the only person cleaning movie theaters from like 6 p.m. to 12, which was whatever, like I'll do my thing. But anyway, I remember there was a really late showing of something at 10, some movies out like about midnight, and I'm going in there to clean. There's someone in the front row and they're just kind of leaned back, and maybe they're watching the credits or whatever. That's kind of when the ushers go in to clean, is like right when the credits are going. People are leaving, they're coming in to clean. So I'm cleaning. And what I used to do is I would go from the top, like all the way in the back, all the way up to the front. And there was two people in the front, that's it. So I'm all the way at the back, cleaning, blah, 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 get to the front, and these people are slumped. I'm going right by them, cleaning up their little mess. I'm sweeping up some fireball shooters. There was a couple. I'm like, oh, they're just drinking, and I look at them, and I've never, like in my life up to this point, I had never really thought that I'd seen a dead person before. This was when I was like, whoa, these people look dead, and they weren't like sleeping like in a fetal position or anything. They were like almost up front, like dead, like a zombie, like this. Like it was crazy. And so I tap on them because the credits ended up being over. Like it was just the lights were on. I'm like, hey guys, like the movie's over. You guys are sleeping. And I'm tapping this dude like this, no movement. And I look in their cup holder, and he's got like a big gulp, and the can's open a little bit. And there's just like empty shooters like in their lap. One's hanging out this dude's like sweatshirt pocket. And I'm like, man, they just must be like really drunk or something. And so, I start pressing harder on his leg. I'm like, hey man, wake up. But anyway, yeah, I'm touching this guy. He's not waking up. I'm like, what the hell? And I'm by there by myself. So I don't know what to do. So I'm like, okay, I gotta slap him to get him up. Like I gotta hit him. So imagine this is his leg. I go, hey dude. And I hit him like a couple times, like slapped. Nothing hard, maybe like 3, 4 out of 10. No movement and like no twitching. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's two dead people in the theater. I try to find a manager. There's no manager there. And so I'm like, okay, like, do I just call the cops? So that's what I do. I call the cops. I didn't know what to do. And yeah, I narked on him. I did narc on him. Yeah, I called the cops. I ended up having to do some like other closing stuff, like cleaning bathrooms, taking out trash. The cops finally come. I think my manager was just gone or something, because he pulls up. He's like, why are the police here? I'm like, oh, I couldn't find you, but there's like two people in the theater. So I go take him to the people that are in the theater, and he tries to wake him up. He even like shakes the guy a little bit, and he's like, yeah, like something's really, really off. I think they're on drugs. But yeah, the cops come. I remember being nosy. I knew when the cops came in, I was kind of like pretending to do my stuff. And then when I saw him walk in the theater, I followed in and just kind of like watched. And yeah, I remember one of the cops goes up, he like shines the flashlight in their faces, nothing. And then he physically picks up the guy out of the reclining theater seat. And then magically it's like he woke up or something. But then the cops they're like, get out, get out. So that was all I saw. But yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, I think dealing with drunk people too, like I had to clean up throw up in the bathroom and in the hallways a lot. And I don't really get grossed out by that stuff, so that was fine. But it's just crazy, like thinking when I was like, really young, like there was no bars in movie theaters. So if you have any stories about drunk people in movie theaters, let me know. But yeah, that's one story. When I worked at a movie theater too, there was a lot of like adults who did work there, but they weren't in a shape to work. They weren't in shape to work like a more challenging job, if you know what I'm saying. I really don't know how to put this in a more in a nice and like PC way. But yeah, there's some people that just aren't able to do very, very like stressful jobs. So they work in low stress jobs, like a movie theater. And I remember one day there was this one guy who sort of fits that bill that I worked with. Super funny, was always joking around, but it was always messing around, like always messing around. we only had 15-minute breaks. He would always take a half hour, like whatever. I don't really care. I'm going to do my work. But I remember I was managing him and I was like, hey man, get number 14. I'm going to get this one. I go get that one. He's supposed to meet me in the next theater, doesn't. Supposed to meet me in the next theater, doesn't. Supposed to meet me in the next theater, doesn't. And yeah, I remember asking my manager, hey, I think we had walkie-talkies. How am I just remembering it now? I like walkie someone. I'm like, hey, have you seen this guy? They're like, no. And I just do my job because I don't care. If I don't care if he shows up, if he's slow, like whatever, I'm just gonna do me. It's not gonna bother me that he's going slow or not doing as good of a job. Like I'm just gonna do me. And I remember it had like hours had passed where it was like, okay, I'm gonna take my break. And so I go into the break room and I'm just eating popcorn, whatever, chilling on my phone. And I remember hearing this like grunt sound. And I was the only one in the break room. It was like this tiny, gross break room. Reminded me a lot of like Five Nights at Freddy's, like that control room. And I hear a noise and I'm like, what's going on? And in the corner, there's like a hanger where people would put like their jackets, purses, whatever. And I look and there's like a bunch of jackets on the ground in a corner. And I'm like, dang, who threw people's jackets on the ground? And I noticed my jacket was one of them. So I'm like, okay, let me go pick up my jacket. And so I go to the corner to pick up my jacket. And I realized the dude that was supposed to help me like cleaning, he has made like a makeshift squirrel's nest of people's jackets because this was in winter. And he's sleeping underneath it. So I like grab him. I'm like, yo, we're gonna call him Alan. I'm like, yo, Alan, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's like, oh, I just have like a headache. Like I just needed to sleep. I'm like, why are you sleeping like with everyone's jackets? And yeah, he didn't really have anything. He's just like, oh, my head hurts, whatever. And I was just like, bro, what the like? It's one thing like if you're skipping work, but it's one thing like taking other people's belongings to like skip work or like sleep. Like that's kind of to me that's crazy. I wasn't really that mad that he was using my jacket, but there was a lot of girls that I worked with, and I'm sure that they wouldn't have appreciated that he grabbed their jackets to like make a makeshift squirrel's nest to sleep in. I remember that being crazy. I was like, what is this character doing? There was multiple NBA basketball players that came to the movie theater. And yeah, that was super cool being able to interact with some of them. One of them being Tyus Jones. Actually, multiple times it was Tyus Jones. And then Shabazz Muhammad. For people who know, they know. That's kind of it for the stories. I probably yapped for like 30 minutes. But yeah, guys. Minecraft movie, my thoughts on it. Why you should work at a movie theater if you're a young kid. Some good and bad stories. Pros and cons. 6112 Unscripted. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy these story times. I got a lot of stories. But yeah, guys, good to connect. Peace.